So I got back from seeing Into the Spider-Verse several hours ago. Well, I think it's getting closer to 12 hours. Well, I don't. That's not true. I saw it around. Well, actually, yeah, I saw it 12 hours ago. Um, and if you know me, you know I love Spider-Man. Uh, this various stack of Spider-Man related content I should show you. And these two suck, and these two series are pretty damn great. I love the Raimi trilogy. I love the Raimi trilogy so much that I own it in two different sets. That's how much I love the Raimi trilogy. I still got my old DVDs. And we got Homecoming, of course. Oops. So I love Spider-Man. I own several reference books on the character, and this was a movie. When I first saw the trailer, I was like, the hell is this? I guess the best way for me to talk about Into the Spider-Verse is to really give you a perspective of how I viewed all 7 Spider-Man films. Technically 8 if we're counting Venom, but Venom is a Spider-Man. But yeah, I haven't seen Venom, so we're just talking about the 7... Can't believe I have to say it. Yes, 7 Spider-Man movies that have come out. So, first 2 Raimi films, masterpieces. They're masterpieces in the superhero genre, and they're spectacular. I've always felt Spider-Man 3 to be a very mixed bag of a film. There are elements I really enjoy, and elements I really hate, but I would overall say it's a movie I enjoy rewatching every once in a while. The Amazing Spider-Man 1, I can take it or leave it. I do think it's a decent enough film, and I think it's better than Spider-Man 3, but that's not saying much. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 can go die and burn in hell. I hate that one. That's the only Spider-Man movie where I can safely say I legitimately hate it with every fiber in my being. Homecoming, thoroughly enjoyed it. With Into the Spider-Verse, I had a feeling I would really enjoy this movie. There was a big part of me praying, not really praying, but hoping that this Peter Parker would be the Raimi universe Peter Parker. But unfortunately, he's not. Although, in my headcanon, this is what happened to Tobey's Spider-Man after Spider-Man 3. His life just went shit. Like, Aunt May's dead. Fucking Mary Jane got divorced from him. And Miles Morales' character, oh jeez, just this Spider-Man, this Peter Parker I should say, the one that really trains Miles Morales, is such a, like, just this beaten down, broken bastard. Like, I want to go home, I'm done with this shit, I'm still Spider-Man, but I'm just fucking, I've had it. It's just really sad to see Peter Parker just so beaten down and miserable. It really is a heartbreaking thing to see Spider-Man, you know, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan, like me. Well, I'm assuming if you watch this, you're a Spider-Man fan by definition. You see this Peter Parker, and it just breaks your heart. And what I also loved was the character of Miles Morales. He was engaging. He was really well written as a preteen, well, actually a very young teenager type of character. His interactions with the other Spider people, you see, is great. The relationship he has with his parents and his uncle are what really holds the movie together. He sees his universe's Peter Parker get killed by Kingman, and he did nothing about it. So, it's like almost in a sense, he has that guilt that Peter Parker had, but on a much higher level. I mean, that just takes, with great power comes great responsibility to the next level. But, I mean, Peter Parker was like, hey, I'll train you after this. I mean, he's gonna fucking die, but he's like, I'll train you, I promise. And then he gets fucking killed. And then you see how old this Peter Parker was. He was like 26, like, damn. God damn. And then you see Miles struggling, trying to fit in. He's going to this private school, and he really hates it because, as he puts it, he really hates the elitism. But it's just a very fascinating character thing, you know. It's one of the reasons why I think the really great Spider-Man movies, and I would categorize it I'd put this above Homecoming. I'd put this above the web films. I'd put this above, obviously, Spider-Man 3. I'd put this above Spider-Man 3. But it is proudly in the top 3 best Spider-Man films. I don't really know if I would call it better than the first 2 Raimi films, because those have a charm, in my opinion, that will never really be outdone in the way Peter Parker was characterized in those first 2 films. Will never be outdone. But this one comes pretty damn close to going to what I loved about these movies, and that's the character development. And it's amazing considering how many other Spider people are in this film, that you really get Miles' struggle, especially with his Uncle Aaron, who, spoilers, is the character known as the Prowler. And now, as a comic book fan, I did know that. It was heartbreaking in the sense that I knew it was coming. I knew that confrontation was going to come sooner or later, that the Prowler and Miles were going to meet. And it's like, when they do meet, it's the most heartbreaking shit. It's like Uncle Ben, but if Uncle Ben was like fucking a goddamn drug like lackey or some shit. Like, he's fighting the Prowler with the other Spider people, and you just see, oh my god, you see the emotional struggle he's going through, and he's just like that extra level of guilt Miles feels because he sees his uncle get killed. His father doesn't know he's Spider-Man. And that was something I was suspenseful. Like, oh my god, is his father going to know? Is he not going to know? Of course, like, Miles kind of subtly is implying, yeah, hey Dad, it's me, I'm Spider-Man. And just the relationship that he has with his father. It's such a really, really compelling thing. And I love how this film, it doesn't really shove it in your face, but it subtly addresses, I think, issues that black people have to go through still in the United States. And it shows that Miles is struggling to impress his father, and his father's like, I push you because I love you, and if I push you too hard, I'm sorry. It's just, the movie just spoke to me, and I really just can't wait to pick this up on 4K. Now, the other stuff I thoroughly enjoyed was the subplot with Peter Parker's Spider-Man from the alternate reality. And you just see the pain he's in, the guilt, the regret. It's like, it really moved me on an emotional level. Especially when you see this Peter Parker meet Miles Morales' dimension Aunt May. And he comes close to meeting Mary Jane after he does meet Mary Jane. But he's like, I'm sorry, I screwed up. I'm sorry, Mary Jane, I screwed up. But he's like trying to be in disguise as a waiter with the other Spider people to stop Kingpin's plan. By the Kingpin's plan in this is that he is also so filled with guilt because his wife and son saw him beating the shit out of Spider-Man. And they got killed frantically running away from him, like in a car accident. And he's like obsessed with bringing them to his reality. And it's just, oh my god, you kind of care about Kingpin. Like, you don't want him to succeed because he's so far gone with his own personal grief that he doesn't give a shit about anyone else. I mean, you can understand because he lost his son and his wife, and it was his fault. And like Spider-Man, in a way, it's him trying to fight his own guilt. Also, the other shit I loved, I love the cameos from several villains. I love the Green Goblin in this, even though he's there for a few minutes. I loved this version of Doc Ock, who's a woman, and you're like, okay, alternate dimension, whatever, and you're like, holy shit, this chick intimidating as fuck. She's like, oh, Spider-Man, I've been really wanting to look into you, and you're from another dimension, and, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. He's like, wait, what? He's like, what did you say your name again? Olivia Octavius. And you're like, oh, shit. Alright. Also, just the action in this movie is stellar. This movie, I think, really it's kind of like a mixture of the 60s Batman movie and the 2003 Hulk movie, meaning they actually make it feel like a very comic booky film. But I think the major advantage this had, as opposed to the 2003 Hulk movie, is that this is an animated film, so it can do more liberties. It can be more free. The medium of animation can really be a very free medium for the character. The only problem is with this film is that I'm going to have to think on it a little more, because while I do love it, and I would certainly rank it in my top 3 favorite Spider-Man films, this is a movie I really want to sit on because it really moved me emotionally. And I just gotta say, if you love Spider-Man, if you miss kind of that character study vibe of the Raimi films, you're gonna love this one. This is a Spider-Man movie, like the type of Spider-Man movie, I mean, I've been really waiting for a long time, and I got it with this one. So I highly recommend you check Into the Spider-Verse out when you have the time, and with that in mind, live long and prosper and have a nice day.